Here we are. We got the mic. Check, 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 check. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Mace Revival on our third installment on YouTube. Thanks for joining today. Just chill out for a moment. If you've got a mace or a stick, whatever you're working with, get ready to move. I got to see who's going to be joining us on the other platform here, as this is also on Zoom. If any of you on YouTube ever want to join the Zoom class, reach out to me. I'll put my email in the show notes, and you can email me. I'll send you the link, the password. Cool. Bear with me today, y'all. I got all sorts of things going on with my body, my shoulder. There's some things going on in my shoulder. So I might make some funky movements today. Either way, we're going to have a lot of fun and learn a lot of things. Very excited to share with you. All right, cool. Let's kick it off. All right, for time's sake, I'm going to condense today's class. Had some folks just couldn't make it on the Zoom. So if you aren't ready to move, if you need to do some mobility, I want you to pause this video, okay? Take 10, 15, 20 minutes, mobilize your body, find your structure. If you need a guide through that, go back to Mace Revival Volume 2 or Volume 1, either one. We do mobility through that, and you can follow along there, all right? When you're done with that, come back here and hop right in, all right? Cool. For those of us ready to move, which is everyone, let's get into what we're going to explore. My intention today is we're going to get into... I want to combine STEEL MACE FLOW level 1 and level 2 ideas in the space of planes, okay? So we're going to be starting with the switch curl, okay? And for those of you familiar with the switch curl, it's as we study in level 1, it's really nice and kept in plane, right? And we do a good job drawing those straight lines and keeping that in plane. And we even switch sides of our body and keep that nice and flat there. So it's a nice strict movement, okay? And it shows you the relationship of the mace in these windows that we can create, okay? And that's level 1, and it's a foundation. And once we have a strong foundation and create a lot of those strict movements, then we want to explore out a little bit more, and the transverse plane comes in. So we're going to kind of study the relationship of the horizon switch, which would exist in the transverse plane, and the switch curl, which would exist either in the frontal or the sagittal plane, and all the space in between. Okay, so it's a cool cool little geometry project we got going on today. All right, so I'm excited to share that with you. Let's just grab our standing structure right now, all right? And we're going to go through just opening our arms up a little bit, some strict switch curls, and get into some horizon switches. And then we're going to go right to a 360 swing set, okay, for 5 minutes. For those of you, if you're just tuning in and you're maybe new with the Mace, if you need a 360 tune-up, we did that last class, so that's Volume 2, okay? Go to Mace, pause this, go to Mace Revival Volume 2, and we spend a lot of time in the swing in the first part of that. Cool. Thanks, guys. Grab your standing structure, grab your mace, grab whatever you got. Let's get it going. All right. Oh, pardon me, y'all, if I head over there. I got to keep checking the Zoom, just make sure I don't leave anyone out. Let's get this right. All right, y'all. So just a quick standing structure tune-up. Those feet are straight forward. I know you can't see my feet, but we're using the outside edges of the feet straight forward, or a slight variation of that where we can roll them out to 20, 30, 40 degrees, whatever feels strong for you. Okay, so somewhere shoulder width apart. Those knees are soft, meaning we got that micro bend in the knees. The hips are underneath us, squeezing the glutes. All right, we're reaching with the crown of the spine with that chin back and tucking our center line in, rolling those shoulders down and back. Okay, and however you want to get that mace up, grab that mace and meet me in crossbody bottom. Crossbody bottom, communicating nice, just like a seat belt here. Okay, we want these shoulders forward at a slight degree, 30, 45 degrees there. Okay, that's strong for the shoulder. Whatever feels good for the hand here, but we want those straight wrists. And right here, we can have either a really strong, I like to call it like a monkey grip, our true under grip, or we can start relaxing it or just extending it, elongating it in that sword grip. All right, kind of like a little more open with those long tendons, thumb in the globe. All right, the back knuckle, index in the globe as well. All right, let's just start rolling this through some switch curls. All right, prayer hands and back and forth. All right, we're going to do this for a minute or two. Once your switch curl opens up, you can change speeds, vary the speed if you want. All we really want to make sure we're doing here is strict control through the structure, a lot of tension, okay, and communicating with our mace, controlling it, checking in with our landmarks. Okay, and you can start pushing that on the side of your body. You can explore your switch curl here. Put it on the side. And that shoulder's a little rough today. All right, the other side. Yeah, and just glide it through there, whatever you want to do with your switch curl. Just notice the relationship that you make, making these very clean, plain windows. Nice work, y'all. All right, frontal plane, sagittal plane, back and forth. You can switch your switch curl up. You can even blend those planes a little as you start to get familiar with that. You see how I'm cutting across planes, kind of combining those in those 45s we were talking about. Strong hips, strong glutes. Good. All right, good job, y'all. Shake it out. So that's the switch curl that we're going to be exploring today. And basically going to be the stopping point or the edge of our exploration in that way, okay? And now let's find the other edge, which is the horizon switch, okay? The horizon switch is a level 2 in STEEL MACE FLOW curriculum. We're starting to explore the relationship of our prayer hands, okay, on the horizon or on this transverse plane. So let me go on a 45 here, all right? And from a landmark 2, right, we're just guiding this tail out, keeping those tight upper arms and lat firing, and we're prayer hands there, and we pull it back into landmark 2 on the other side. It doesn't need to be landmark 2. It can be landmark 1 to landmark 3. Just experiment with that and have fun controlling this. Coach's challenge here, try to keep that relationship with the horizon as true as you can. Oh, we didn't go there yet. We're going to be going there though. Overhead as we open this up. So this is the transverse plane cutting through the center of our mass. If we allowed it, that's why we have to push the mace out in front. Good, keep going. 20 more seconds. Explore. Try to keep those horizon lines as true as possible. time. Nice. Good work, y'all. Great work. So, do you see how that's going? The switch curl, level one is just a process of really honing that switch curl. Really, all of our lines, right? Think about the lines in level one and the foundation we need. So once you really have strict lines, once your foundation is solid, and you're moving out from there, you're venturing out, you're seeing, oh, what other pathways or whatever routes could I take to these fun little areas or these different interesting new moves? Then you start opening up the transverse plane, right? So you're in the transverse plane. Well, now we got three-dimensional space, don't we? We're moving first maybe in the 2D or pivoting to maybe in the 3D. Then we start opening up that transverse movement. And then once the transverse movement is really locked in, we're starting to combine things, right? We're starting to cut corners. And I want you to notice as we go through today, the relationship and the way it looks, it changes the feeling. It changes everything about it, right? It doesn't necessarily change the hand transition maybe, or sometimes the mechanics don't change so much. But it does change the look entirely, right? I'll demonstrate that as we get into this and start to elaborate more moves. Think about it. If you're in a 2D doing switch curls, thrashing back and forth in a step two, right? You're there and you're in this two-dimensional plane and you're trying to keep straight in a line to prevent collision, right? And then you start opening up that transverse. So now you got this mace intersecting with your body line. And we're going to explore bringing that above our head as well, and the freedom that affords us. But before we do that, we need to have a really good relationship with our structure and a lot of tension, because if we're going to start leaving the center of it's not really the center of our gravity, but we're leaving the controls of our landmarks that we so often use. We really need a strong center so it has a stable pillar of strength to purposefully rotate around. Okay, so I'm really excited to explore this. Let's get into our 360 swing set first, though. All right, that's going to go for 5 minutes. We want to open our shoulders and everything up. And what it really is for is I want to dial in the center, and I want you to dial in your structures here. All right, so wherever you feel those leaks, wherever you feel those problem areas as you start swinging this mace around your body, start sealing those up. Really start to focus in those areas. And then, let's open it from there. I'm going to blast some tunes, y'all. Grab that standing structure. Here we go. T minus 20. There's the 5-minute button. Some Tibetan singing bowls. Here we go, y'all. Standing structure, feet straight forward, soft knees, hips underneath us. If y'all need to start with a grip that's a little more closer to the globe, go ahead. Wherever your swing's at today, whatever you want to work. Focusing on the structure, focusing on rotation. Anti-rotation through the feet. Lots of core tension. And what's your breath doing? Any hand transition you'd like to switch sides. You don't have to stay with me. You can keep your own rep count if you'd like. You can go 1-to-1 alternating, whatever serves you through this. I'll choke up on that one. This left shoulder, mine is saucy. Nice. Good work, y'all. Lots of elbow drive power. Check in with those structural cues every so often. How's your feet? Keep your knees soft. Keep going. I'm going to turn these bowls up. Yeah. Halfway there, y'all. Good work. Tune your breath. What's optimal for you right now? These are called 10 and 2s. The structure doesn't change to the center or the hips. Good work, y'all. Checking with those feet. Checking with that elbow drive. Strong swings. Five seconds. Very nice, y'all. Good work. 5 minutes of swinging. Check. That felt good. Except in my entire left shoulder. Didn't feel good in that. It does feel better though now. Better than we began. Cool. Good work, y'all. All right, so let's tune up our structure there. Hello, Lake Nanya. How you doing? Thank you for joining. So yeah, good swings, y'all. I hope you enjoyed that. I did. We're gonna move on and just build from the ground up here. Okay, so let's take our switch curl for a little ride in step 2. Okay, lateral lunges, and we're gonna go really try to create a straight line here. Okay, so as I tune this up, follow along with your mace if you'd like, or with whatever you have, and let's see how straight we can create these lines. Okay, so then we create strict movement, and then we can open up our movement and explore different movement curvature out of there. All right, so grab those mace, and everybody's probably at a different place. Yeah, everybody's at a different place, that's for sure. Everybody's at a different place in their mace movement. So I'm going to add a little challenge to this. Okay, once we get into the rep count, and I don't know, we'll put on 3 minutes on the clock. Okay, we don't have to shred. So once I start the rep count, I want you to add one move of your own movement to the switch curl. Okay, so it's going to be like a small little flow we create. Okay, like think power archer. Okay, or diamond flow. Okay, level 1 stuff. Here we go, y'all. Grab that mace. Grab that linear instrument, and come explore this with me. All right. So if we're in our crossbody bottom here and under over grip, right? Under being closest to the globe, over the one that's controlling the tail. All right. From our standing structure in crossbody bottom. If we extended this and just took, this is the non-tattooed leg is my right leg. If we just took the right leg and moved it out and adjusted our structure, we are in a, let me back this up so y'all can see a little bit better. We are in a lateral lunge, step 2. Okay, with these, as a wonderful human and educator of Steel Mace Flow, Jimmy Pinto, would always say, knees pointing to the stars, all right? So those toes are out at a 45 or even a little deeper, and those knees are pointing at the stars, all right? And we have this mace making the tallest, longest line we can, all right, strictly on that frontal plane. And when we transition, we're still keeping it very flat on that line and bringing it in. There's a slight rotation as you bring it into the hip or wherever you feel strong. If you feel stronger out here, keep it there. Okay, that's really on the line. I bring it back in just a little bit, whatever you want. Okay, so switch curl, nice and flat on the line, there. Switch curl, back to our standing structure. Step 2. Switch curl. As slow as you want to go. Back and forth. All right. I'm going to start the timer. And let's hit this just strict for about a minute. And then I'm going to open the floor to you to add a move of your own as we go through there. Here we go, y'all. And back and forth. Switch curl with your step 2. Get it right where you want it. You can switch lateral to lateral if you want. Gliding through there either low or coming up taller. Or you can take steps if you like. Standing structure, step 2. Standing structure, step 2. Challenge whatever needs to be activated in your anti-rotation. If your back needs it, work that pull, work that rip. If your chest or your anterior needs it, work that crush. Work. Nice and flat. Keep going, y'all. All right. 2 minutes left. I want everyone to add one move, whatever you'd like. You don't have to stay on the line with this move, but you can. Okay. I'm just adding a switch curl, bringing that tail truly on the frontal plane to get a switch in so I can shoot that arrow over the loaded leg. And back in. Okay. You can change moves if you want, if that one doesn't serve you anymore. You can just fly into some Kimura. You don't have to stay at level 1. Still staying pretty flat on the line there. Nice, good work, y'all. Back and forth. Switch timings for a change of of look and feel. Doesn't change a whole lot except the timing, which is a lot. Nice work, everybody. Good stuff. So, I hope you enjoyed that. Yeah, trying to keep that mace as strictly linear as possible, as well as adjusting our lateral stance with the feet and the knees outward and those hips right underneath us. That takes time to afford ourselves that mobility. At least it did for me. Back when I first started, I mean, I still had pretty tight hips, but my hips were really tight back then. So take time, be kind to yourself as you work into those ranges. But yeah, keeping those knees, feet and knees pointing at the stars really avoids that collision's sake. That's what we're doing in our structure to keep that all proper. And what we're doing with our hands and our upper half and our mace is keeping that nice and flat on a line. Okay, so that we always know where our mace is, right? So then we want to dance with our mace, when we want to start moving around and exploring freedom, which is coming right up. We can start really moving or pivoting or doing things, and we know where our mace is because our mace has been there so many times. Okay, and we have those strict planes. So let's move on, and we already learned the horizon switch. So I want to start blending the lines now. Okay, I want to just demo something for you. Okay, for those of you who have done like mace and hands mobility or mobility with your mace, using it as a mobility implement, you'll notice you don't put 100% tension in your mace, right? You glide through there at 10 or 20%, whatever that means to you, to keep those lines straight and functional. But you're trying to open up. You're not trying to close off. You're trying to get a little more freedom of movement, especially in the tendons, maybe in the elbows, in the thoracic. Although we always want that tight center line. Okay, as you're gliding through there, right? That's different than, say, when you lock that cross body bottom in our step 2, right? For the finish, and you're just ripping that mace, you're crushing that mace, and you're strong between your feet, and everything's tight, and you're just driving your spine down into your solid legs. That is the opposite end of the mace and hands mobility spectrum. Okay, so I want you to put that mindset on and explore this. Okay, because we're really entering the realm of dynamic potential as we can explode out of these things, right? So think about landing in that step 2 in 100% tension, right? And then as we glide that handle out and start blending the lines between the frontal plane and that horizon transverse plane, cutting somewhere in between there, okay, you can really start to loosen up on your mace and find that mace and hands mobility, and that allows freedom of movement. That being said, the reason why we did the 360 swings, remember, is to have a very strong center line. Okay, so even though you might be loosening up in the hands a little bit, we have everything tight here. Okay, our lats are fired, our core's tight. Okay, we have a nice strong spine. We're getting tall at all times. That's a cue I constantly have to remind myself of, is getting tall from here, from the crown, right? So I don't go into these defensive stances or postures, right? Okay, so let's explore this and have some fun with this. All right, I'm gonna reset the clock. We're gonna do 3 minutes, and all we're gonna do here, y'all, is, let me demonstrate something real quick first. So you might have seen me during the last set. I started combining the switch curl with the Kimura, okay, Kimura grip, and then I was landing in, I think, cross body bottom. So if I take that same concept, right, and I'm starting to come down here to the lower step twos. Okay, if I wanted to take this mace and put it on Kimura on this side, and I wanted to stay super strict to my planes, I could do that. And that's actually how I came through, especially exploring this little world with the Kimura and all these. But if I switch that here into a Kimura, I could now keep it flat and plain and do a purposeful pivot, finding a home there, right, for that Kimura. And then coming back, I could rotate out, pull it out, and now we're back on the front, right? We can switch to switch sides and nice and flat in that plane. Once we're in that plane, rotate on the transverse and lowering. You know, it looks boxy. It's boxy, right? And it's super functional. And you learn the relationship, how all those things glue together, right? But now that we understand that we can rotate this on the horizon and we can cut through things, right? If I just wanted to blend those lines, right? And now we're really creating this beautiful circular effect, and it has a lot more curves to it, right? So boxy look, functional, really strong. And now we're opening up a little bit more. Okay, still really strong in here, gives us more curves, gives us a rounder appearance. Okay, so all we're gonna do in this 3-minute set is take our switch curl, okay, from that flat plane, and I want us to change it. Lots of lat activation here, and we're just bringing it across a little bit more now. Okay, back and forth. If you want to bring it overhead, tight elbows, just like we were in our overhead position with the 360 swing. Back and forth. Okay, here we go, y'all. Let me start this time. I'll put something else on other than singing bowls, so we got something to jam to. You know what I'm saying? Here we go. 3 minutes. Go. Back and forth. Here. All right. That was super cool to share that with you. That's some of my favorite stuff in the world, in the whole world of the entire world and the world of Steel Mace Flow right there. So switch curl, horizon switch. I want to throw a little coach's challenge here at you. And I want to show you. So I paired it with the Kimura to show that example. But I want you in your own work, a little homework assignment here. It doesn't have to be long. Let's make this functional and achievable. 10 minutes, okay? Take 10 minutes, not now, later or whenever you want. Take 10 minutes, and I want you to combine your switch curl now in that interesting way and find what kind of cool moves you can find out of there with that hand switch or whatever. Okay, like I showed you that you can switch it from under over, right? And creating that freedom through there. And then I'll just flip my hand through there. Okay, so here, it's a sword draw switch. Y'all know it. If you took level 1, you know it. That's a sword draw switch. And we just land in Hunter Kimura there, right? But we could create all sorts of other things in there too, couldn't we? Like the one I really like to hit, and it kind of combines the beauty of the two natures of level 1, strict lines, boxy formations, and creating planes and symmetry and foundation and structure, with level 2, or these open, more free-ended ways, curvature, right? And I like that it combines these, and that's the switch curl or the crossbody bottom step 2. We're taking that out almost like a horizon switch, okay? And we're landing in a uppercut forward, or a landmark 3, okay? And we're not driving it across the body necessarily, right? We're creating massive counter rotation there as we go. And there's all sorts of fun angles we can slash across and cut and create not only straight lines, keeping it super boxy, but we can create diagonal lines, and then eventually creating round lines with an uppercut and a switch curl cutting across. It's so cool. All right. So just a different way to think about these things and see it. And yeah, that's one of my favorite things right there, is like just landing an uppercut. Like, oh, how'd he get there? First time I saw that, I don't remember, but blew my mind. All right, so let's hit. We opened up those pivot steps. I know it was hard to see my feet, y'all. Let me see if I can do you a solid, okay? It's just so we can have some clarification on that. Okay, so I'm gonna try to line this up with the mat. See if it works. There we go. Okay, bear with me. I hope this doesn't flop over. Okay, so those pivot steps, I'm just going to show you the nature of the feet. Okay, it's really fun, and it starts to afford that 360 environment, right? So if we're in our lateral lunge, right, with those toes and knees outward, the hips are forward, we're nice and solid through here, and we're tall and straight. Okay, this leg that we're so used to springing off anyways is going to spring, and we're going to just a minor shift there. You don't have to get even drastic in the heel, but just shift the heel and the toe forward, okay, if you're not truly forward. And you're just coming up and matching it, okay? And now we can swing. We could do all sorts of fun things here because we're just in our standing structure. And then we can open it back up into our step 2, right? Here, 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 here. Okay, and that's where we're switching from. Switch, shing, shing. I have a mace right next to me, but I like to use my hands and sound effects instead. All right. So I hope that helps, y'all. That was another mind blower right there. When I started opening my movement up and getting off that line, that's really, really enjoyable. And that's a really fun time, is being in that space. The mystery of the floor circle. It's cool. All right, guys. One more thing to show y'all. That's why I cut mobility out of it, this video at least. Because if you haven't noticed by now, I'm long-winded when I do talk. let's get into, the whole point of all this was to show you that we can blend and find freedom through there, right? And yeah, the relationship, that it's all connected, right? It's all connected. Some of it a little farther related, farther off related than some of the other stuff, but you know, we're combining level 1 ideas into a level 2 ideas, and now we're really into the realm of freedom. As we explore this, if you're not ready for it, that's fine. Just go slow. Look just like we did when we opened it up, the switch, curl, and horizon switch, right? Let's search for control and really communicate with our mace. Okay, and then if we feel something, we move into that, okay, a little bit. We're going to go into the Helo Switch, or at least what I call the Helo Switch, what I think many probably call the Helo Switch. It's above the head, okay? We're really going to open the mace up a little bit more, okay? So think about the horizon switch and then just further it along, okay? Kind of like a relationship of a switch curl landing across body and continuing on into a sword cradle and then beyond, right? There's relationships there. Same thing in the horizon switch. Okay, so let's have fun together and enjoy this. This isn't going to be a time set or anything. I just want you all to experience this and see how I explore it through here. Let me turn off this obnoxious heater. That's not so obnoxious when it's warm. The 9-month winter that's here. All right. So if we land in our crossbody bottom in step 2, okay, and we're in our under over grip, and we're combining that idea, right? So I want you all to horizon switch it with a switch curl, and we're raising it above our head, okay, creating this nice tight platform here. Let's talk about safety here, okay? Lots of pressure through the palms, big prayer here, okay? The lats are still driving downward, okay? The elbows are getting as close as we can fire them here, and then we can safely transition that through the hands side. So as we're exploring that right there, that's how we were switching through here. Okay, you can bring that through the heart center if you wanted, or above the head. But for the Helo Switch sake, we're going to bring it above the head. Okay, so as we come to that tall pivot step, we're going to bring it here in our prayer hands overhead. All right, and from prayer hands overhead, we're going to open it. Controlling hand, the same hand that took off, that was in under, is going to open, open, open. And I've guided that around my body in this top X pattern. Okay. Don't really have a name for that. But yeah, let's just call it that. So I came from here, open the tail. Look, we're just in a horizon switch there. But this is going to guide it along. And now we're in this tall X, firing the lats down. Okay. And that creates a nice strong frame. In case this goes wonky, we can get out from under there and just kind of push it away. Okay. And as that comes through, we're going to change our hands to the back position and bring it down into crossbody bottom. Okay. Full speed. I'll slow it down again, but here's full speed, or controlled speed, I should say. Here. Open up. So there's some point where we switch from the forward position to the back position with the new hand and push-pull that into our working grip. The tail hand is in the back position, back position, back position, back position, and then it goes to the forward on the globe position. Does that make sense? So, again, nice and slow here, all right? If I'm not pivoting at all, okay, the pivot actually adds to a point. There's a point of diminishing returns, as if, I think, with almost everything. The pivoting actually adds the ease of the tail transition, or that tail keeping on line with the horizon, okay, which is safety above the head, right? The reason it's above our head is because here it'd be cutting us through the body, right? So this provides freedom, but we need this to be super strong in our structure. Okay, so here we're opening that above our head, Okay, we're nice and tight in our frames. We can come even to almost like a prayer hands, but we're keeping this one forward because it provides this. It provides a little extra push-pull if maybe something goes wrong in the pivot, or, you know, we just require that, or it's nice just to stay connected. And then we take it from there and just purposefully switch before we let go and pull it back into the other side. Here, 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 switch. Here, open, and you'll feel those hands want to communicate with each other and grasp the mace, bringing it back in. Okay? Let's see if I can hit a different angle on that. Okay? It's tough from the knees, y'all. The knee helo. Here. The reason I'm starting here, it doesn't really matter because we're here, okay? There's not enough tail whip here because we're on that frontal plane, remember? So let's combine the planes, and you could even start here. We're not truly up in here, are we yet? But we're not still here. We're somewhere out in here. So we can whip that tail out. Okay, here, here, switch, here, here, into wherever you want. You could even land flat. Well, could you? Let's explore that. Well, you gotta drop it quick. Drop it like it's hot. Not too hot. On your kneecap. No, it wasn't my kneecap. I dropped it like right on the femoral head where you knee with in Muay Thai, which isn't so bad, but it hurt. It left a big bruise. That was like 2 months ago. I dropped my mace, my globe on it. I don't remember what I was doing. Probably knucklehead stuff. So awesome, y'all. We got through that. It's in the we learned the Helo Switch. That's super exciting because I was amazed when I started seeing that and was able to do it and like do it to where I was actually communicating with the mace, you know. And it's a different thing, right? When we get a move off and you're like, whoa, I started from this point and I ended in this point, and technically you could say I did that, right? You could point at the 360 swing, right? How many people's 100th swing ever is like their 20,000th, right? It's so different. And it's like, it's almost like you're just starting here and ending here and you swung it and you like it. But on the far advanced end of that, you know, you're controlling that. You're starting to feel it. I mean, there's still maybe some points in there that you're like, you know, still a bunch of rebels live there, but you know what I mean? Like, it feels good. Just a different communication standard, right? You hold for yourself at that higher tier. So super glad I could share that with you all. Thanks so much for joining the Mace Revival and checking this out, moving your mace today with me and each other, even though it's not like a classroom thing, right? We're all kind of spider webbed out. Weird. Yeah. So we started with the straight lines, right? The straight lines level 1 affords us from Steel Mace Flow. Nice and flat in the front. We could change those onto the side, really, which, you know, back when I started training with the mace and giving some reasons and whys to what I was doing on my own, that was in and of itself very groundbreaking, you know, like, oh my goodness, like, okay, I was keeping this flat in the front, but I could do that same thing right here. Wow. And, you know, there's a little bit of change, but wow. And, oh, okay, I realized I don't have some mobility there that I can afford myself, right? I lost strength. So that was really groundbreaking in and of itself. But now advancing out of those straight lines, if you've done enough work, or, you know, if you need to still draw the lines, okay? Draw them as much as you need to. Just know that world's out there and that you'll be there one day if you keep going. All right, so cool. Thanks so much, everyone. God bless. Enjoy your Easter, and I love y'all.